पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल भंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे काहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल धायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, वंदे मातरम, मातरम, मातरम। Vanakkam, namaste. My name is Bhushavali and I am right now here in Pas de Calais region in the northern France. Is the Neuve Chapelle memorial for the Indian soldiers. You might have already seen my video on the graves of Indian soldiers in Belgium, as well as my another video, the graves of Indian soldiers in Somme region in France. Sandwiched between the Belgium and the Somme region in France is this Pas de Calais region. The involvement of the Indian soldiers in the World War began with Ypres. After the Battle of Ypres, slowly it came down to this region. Indians were frontline in this region. After this, only the Battle of Somme happened. The cavalry soldiers were retained in the Somme region and the infantry soldiers were moved to the other regions. But that happened, that decision, why that decision was taken was because of the various battles in the Pas de Calais region, and one of the bloodiest battle for the Indians in the Pas de Calais region was the Battle of Neuve Chapelle. Very similar to the Ypres salient, the Neuve Chapelle was also a salient in army terms. That was a small protrusion into the enemy line. From that point, you could have a view onto the enemy line, and it's capturing a salient is one of the tactical moves when you are fighting a battle. The Battle of Neuve Chapelle was initiated by the British to capture the Neuve Chapelle salient. It was very costly for the British. By costly, by means a lot of soldiers died, and a lot of those soldiers were the Indian soldiers. This was perhaps bloodier for the Indians than the Ypres battles. More number of soldiers died, more number of Indian soldiers died in Neuve Chapelle than Ypres. The plan to send the Indian infantry to other places and not stay here is because when the captain or the sergeant or the captain or the lieutenant died, the entire unit could not be handled properly because of the lack of local language, because the captains, they had to be replaced with captains, other captains or sergeants who spoke Hindi or Marathi or Punjabi or Urdu as per the local where the soldiers units were from. It was for this reason that Indian infantry was moved to other places and the cavalry was kept in Somme as a reserve, as a backup. A lot of shellings happened, and that basically caused an entire unit to be just wiped out. And even shellings happened onto some military hospitals. So not only did the soldiers die, but also the doctors and the nurses and the medical professionals who were in the front line, they also died. A lot of bombings happened in this region. The Neuve Chapelle memorial for the Indian soldiers is for the missing soldiers, by which I mean their bodies could never be retrieved. Those whose bodies could be retrieved and identified, they have their own dedicated graves in various cemeteries in this region, but whosever bodies could not be retrieved, as we might go see in the various cemeteries, we will see many cemeteries where the gravestone would just say a Sikh soldier of the Indian Army, or an unknown soldier of an Indian army, or a Muslim soldier of the Indian army, or a Hindu soldier of the Indian army, or a Gurkha soldier of, or if the battalion is known, at least the battalion, an unknown soldier of the 8th Gurkha Rifles Battalion. So any of those unknown soldiers whose names, the body was there, but whose body was that we never knew, all those names are here. Here are the names of 4,653 Indian soldiers, out of which about 50 are the captains and the lieutenants and the sergeants of the British, who are the British commanders. So about 50 are actually Britishers. So around 4,600 Indian soldiers are named in this memorial. Of the 4,600 names, there are 35 acting Lance Dafadar, 37 bearers, 194 Lance Nayak, 158 Nayak, 1,304 riflemen, 1,282 sepoy, and so many more. The military band, there are 28 buglers, there are 1 bugle major, there is a drummer, then there are about seven riflemen here whose names are here, who were awarded the Indian Order of Merit, and there are about 7 sepoys here who were awarded the Indian Distinguished Service Medal, and also some were given the Indian Order of Merit. And three very important names in this place are Gorre Singh Negi. He was a rifleman with the 39th Garhwal Rifles. He was a Victoria Cross awardee. And then a major and a sub-assistant surgeon. Indians were never given the ranks of a major or a captain or a lieutenant, sergeant. No, Indians never were in those ranks, with an exception of the Indian Medical Service and the Indian Medical Department. Doctors who were employed in these departments were automatically given the rank of a major or captain. During the defense of Festubert on 23rd November 2014, during the defense of Festubert, a shell was thrown onto the medical post, where several doctors and nurses, and along with the soldiers, the wounded soldiers, everybody died. 3 Indian doctors. All of them died on 23rd November 1914. Of them, only the body of one of the doctor could be retrieved. He has a separate grave. We will go there. The bodies of the other 2 doctors could not be retrieved. They are Pandit Pyarelal Atal and Hakim Rai, and their names are here in Neuve Chapelle, written here in Neuve Chapelle. Hakim Rai was the son of Gurandita Mal of Mundeke, Guraya, Daska, Sialkot in Punjab. And Atal, Pandit Pyarelal Atal, is the son of Kishanlal Atal of Hardoi, UP, and he was the husband of Raj Atal. During the First World War, 11 Indians were awarded the Victoria Cross. When you look into the Google, it will give you a different number, because a lot of captains and majors and sergeants were also awarded the Victoria Cross, who were not technically Indians, they were technically Britishers, who were serving in the various Indian regiments. People who were awarded the Victoria Cross of Indian origin were 11 in numbers during the World War I, and of them, 6 were in the Western Front and the rest were in the Mesopotamia region. 3 Victoria Cross awardees were here in the Pas de Calais region. One of them has a name here, Gorre Singh Negi. Gorre Singh Negi was a rifleman with the 39th Garhwal Rifles. He was the son of Badri Singh of Manjar, Tehri, UP. That's the Neuve Chapelle Indian Memorial. 2 huge lions, and on it is not the Ashoka pillar, it is There's a star on top of it. There's a lotus and then a star on top of it. There's the Dharma Chakra with the bull and the elephant. And then written here is God is one, His is the victory. Hawal Ghafoor in Arabic, Om Bhagavate Namaha in Hindi, Vahe Guruji Ki Fateh in Punjabi, and below that is a huge India 1914-1918. Vanakkam, Namaste. We are in Pas de Calais, we are in White Farm Cemetery right now, and there are graves of 20 Indian soldiers here. Of them, one sapper, one lance naik and 4 riflemen died on 29th and 30th October, which was the Battle of Laventie. And then one sapper, one jamadar and 3 riflemen died on 25th September 1915, which was the Battle of Loos. On 25th September, the Battle of Loos happened, and during the Battle of Loos, I have to tell you about Vir Chakra. He is one of the persons who got the Victoria Cross. Victoria Cross is the British equivalent of our Param Vir Chakra. And on 25th September 1915, in Fokisart, very close by in the Battle of Loos, and after the front line of the Germans, in the German trench, Vir Chakra was there. He wanted to escape, he was trying to escape. This happened during the daytime. When he was trying to escape, he found Private Evan Jones. He was another soldier from the Leicestershire Regiment, Private Evan Jones. He went there, stayed with him through the day, through the night, and the very early morning, Private Evan Jones kept telling him time and again to Vir Chakra to go to save himself. But he did not. He stayed in the trench and he waited for the next day early morning. Next day early morning, in the misty morning, he pulled Private Evan Jones through the fences and brought him to relative comparative safety. After that, he went back through the line and brought back 2 more of Gurkha soldiers. He is a Gurkha soldier. He is Vir Chakra Magar. He is from what is today Nepal. He brought back 2 more soldiers, Gurkha soldiers, to safety, and then he went again the fourth time to bring back another British soldier. This time it was almost broad daylight because he started this rescue early in the morning when it was misty. But by the time he saved 3 people, by the time we were saving the 4th person, he was having the person on the shoulder and he brought him to the safety. By this time, the Germans who were firing on towards him, they stopped firing. Temporarily they stopped firing because they were so touched by his selflessness to save the other soldiers. So they temporarily stopped firing on him so he could walk across the border to bring the fourth person that he could save to safety. And he himself was wounded at that point of time. He survived, he did not die, he survived this. And he was awarded the Victoria Cross. He survived it, went back to India, lived long enough. He died much later in 1956 at the age of 67. It's a movie that has just come out about the life of Kulbir Thapa Magar. It's called The Gurkha Beneath the Bravery. Try to catch it. We are in Rue David Military Cemetery in Fleurbet. There are 42 graves of Indian soldiers in this cemetery. This entire section is dedicated to the Indian war heroes. Sepoys were from all over the place, all over the Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Lucknow, Jhansi, Jhelum, Kangra, Hoshiarpur, the entire Punjab, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand belt. The sepoys were from the entire section. One of the father, Raghunath Singh, is from Jodhpur. 4 of these sepoys died on 27, 28 and 29 September 1915, which means they died in the Battle of Loos. We are in Rue Petillon Military Cemetery in Fleurbet, and there are just 2 graves of Indian soldiers here. One is Ram Singh. He was a sepoy with the 90th Punjabis Regiment, and he was the son of Uttam Singh of Gudhe, Lahore, Punjab. And the other is Sundar Singh. He was a Naik with 31st Punjabis, and he was from the he was the son of Mal Singh of Chimna in Jagrao, Ludhiana, Punjab. See, both of them are from Punjab, and both of them are what is today. One is from what is today Pakistan and what is today India. Laventie Military Cemetery in Gorre. My list list here gives 19 graves of, I have 19 names of Indian soldiers here, but technically that's only 19 identified soldiers. Right here are 60 graves, 60 graves of Indian soldiers, and of them only 19 are identified, of whom there was 1 Havildar, 1 Sepoy, 2 Subedar and 15 riflemen. Of the 15 riflemen, 14 riflemen and 1 Subedar all died on 30th October 1914, and all of them were from the 8th Gurkha Rifles 2nd Battalion. What happened on 30th October 1914? The Battle of Labasi happened on 14th October 1914. So the British were basically driven back, and the German army occupied Labasi and Neuve Chapelle, and it was around this time, in the Battle of Labasi, the British recaptured Laventie but failed to capture Labasi, and it was at this point of time, it was in this battle, it included the Garhwal Rifles, the Lahore Division and the 8th Gurkha Rifles, 8 Gurkha Rifles. There, 39 Garhwal Rifle, Hindu Soldier of the Great War, 39 Garhwal Rifle, 39 Garhwal Rifle, 39 Garhwal Rifle. There's 8 Gurkha Rifle, 8 Gurkha Rifle, 8 Gurkha Rifle. I just counted of the 60, 16 are 39 Garhwal Rifles. None of them have a name here. None of them were identified. Another 16 are from the 8 Gurkha Rifles Regiment. Some of them have been identified. There. We are in Pont military cemetery in Lahore. There are 8 identified graves, but in a total there are 15 graves here, 10 on this side in a separate plot and 5 on the other side in a separate plot. There are 15 graves of Indian soldiers here. 1 rifleman and 4 sepoys died on 25th September in the Battle of Loos. And it's the same Battle of Loos in which Kurbir Thapa saved the lives of so many other soldiers. There are 5 graves here in a separate section. There is 10 graves there in a separate Indian plot, 5 graves here in a separate Indian plot. All the 5 here are identified and all belonging to the 8th Gurkha Battalion, and all of them died on 25th September 1915 in the Battle of Loos. The board there says Rue de Bacquerot, number 1 military cemetery. If you look here, this looks like a private farm. Just enter. Just enter. This is a private farm, but you can go inside. Even if you have a car, you can still go inside. And there, at the end of this road, you will find the cross. And there on the opposite side also you will find the cross. So the cemetery is in 2 parts on both sides of the road. As you go through this path, the one on your left side is the one where the Indian plot is. So you go through this part, and this section is entirely for the Indian soldiers. There you go. These soldiers of the Indian Army fell near this spot. And then here are the graves of 88 soldiers of First World War. Most of these men probably died in the Battle of Loos. That includes 1 bearer, 2 drivers, 7 havildar, 3 jamadar, 7 lance naik, 2 naik, 23 riflemen, 6 sapper, 1 subadar and 36 sepoys. So this is Road Bacquerot number 1 military cemetery in Laventie with 88 Indian graves. When I say 88 graves, 88 identified soldiers, it doesn't mean there are 88 graves here. There are more than 100 graves here with quite a few unidentified Hindu, Muslim and Sikh soldiers, as well as completely unidentified Indian soldiers as well. We are in St. Mark's post-military cemetery in Bridgeport now, and there are 46 identified graves of Indian soldiers here. 3 drummers, and all 3 of them were with the Indian Army Medical Corps. 3 bearers, all with the Indian Army Medical Corps. 1 drummer, 2 havildar, 2 jamadar, 3 lance naik, 1 naik, 16 riflemen and 18 sepoy. 3 of them died on 25/9 when the Battle of Loos began, and the very next day, 26/9, 3 of them died, and then they kept dying. 27/9, 1 of them died. 28 September, 3rd October, 4th October, 5th October, 10th October. They kept dying till 3rd November. So for the next 3 months, Indian soldiers kept dying here. This is Vir Chapelle New Military Cemetery, La Couture. There are 27 identified graves of Indians here, but there are 64 graves in total here, including the unidentified Indians. So, of the identified Indian soldiers, there's 1 havildar, 3 jamadar, 1 naik, 10 riflemen, 1 rasaldar, 10 sepoy and 1 subadar. 16 of them died on 23rd and 24th November 1914. What happened on 23rd and 24th November 1914? That's the defense of Festubert. German infantry captured the trench east of Festubert, which was then recaptured by the Meerut division. So this excessive shelling, the excessive bombing was very, very costly, and a lot of Indians died in it, including the doctors. It was in the military hospital very close to Festubert was where the shelling happened, or in the hospital, in the military hospital. One of them had their cemetery. Only one of the body was recovered, one of the body was identified, and his grave is in Bethune Town Cemetery, and the rest of the names of the doctors are in the Neuve Chapelle Cemetery, which we already saw. We are in Zelobes Indian Cemetery in La Couture. There are 73 identified Indian graves, but including the unidentified ones, there are more than 100 graves here. I haven't counted, there are more than 100 graves here. This is a dedicated Indian cemetery, which means the Indians who died in this region were buried here, cremated, buried here. over the period of time, which means 11 of them, of the identified soldiers alone, 11 of them died on 20th December 1914, which means it was the defense of Givenchy, and then 7 of them died in 13, 14, 17 March 1915, which was basically the Battle of Neuve Chapelle. 9 of them died in 9th, 10th May 1915, which was the second Battle of Artois or the Aubers Bridge battle, and then continues the battle of on 16th May 1915, 17th, 18th, 21, 22. This was when the Battle of Festubert happened. It kept on going. So over the period of time, many Indians who died in various battles in this region were all buried here. Gorre British and Indian Cemetery. There are 77 graves here of Indian soldiers. Of the 77 identified graves here, there are more unidentified graves as well. Of the 77, 24 were drivers. 24 were drivers, all with the Royal Garrison Artillery of the Indian Army in the 7th Mountain Battalion. All of them died on 8th January 1915, and all of them were from Punjab except for 2 people who were from Kashmir. Both of them were from Punch, Kashmir. Dadan Khan and Muhammad Saeed from Kashmir. So, what happened on 8th January 1915? Most probably this is the affairs of Quincy, when on 1st January a German attack captured several British posts on the railway embankment in La Bassie Canal in the vicinity of Quincy. So this is possibly when 24 drivers of the Royal Garrison Artillery of the Indian Army died, and all of them are here in the Gorre British and Indian Cemetery. Apart from these drivers, 9 riflemen died on 21st, 19th to 22nd December. All of them are buried together in the end of the cemetery. Probably that is more like a shoulder-to-shoulder burial. And what happened on 19th to 22nd December 1914, that is most probably the defense of Givenchy. I'm at Bethune Town Cemetery, and this is a communal cemetery where general public also bury their loved ones, and a section of this is the Commonwealth War Graves, and here is the grave of Captain K.I. Singh, that is Captain Kumar Indrajit Singh. He was awarded the military cross. Written here is Captain Kumar Indrajit Singh, MC Military Cross, Indian Medical Service attendant of the 57th Wild Rifles Frontier Forces, and he died on 24th November 1914. On 24th November 1914 was the defense of Festubert. It was in this defense of Festubert when a bombing happened on the station, on the medical station, in which many of our doctors perished, and he is one of the Indian doctors whose body could be found. The others whose body could not be found, their names are there in the Neuve Chapelle, which we already saw. So he studied in Punjab. He was born in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, and he studied in Punjab and then went to London to study medicine, and he joined the Indian Medical Service in 1911, and he was here. The house used as a compound on this day, on 23rd November 1914, the house used as the combined dressing station of the 57th Rifles and 129th Baluchis took a direct hit. This was only 1,500 yards from the front line. Everybody, so many people died, and his body was recovered the next day. He was awarded the Military Cross posthumously on 1st January 1915. Talking about the defense of Festubert, I should also mention Victoria Cross awardee Darwan Singh Negi. Their regiment was engaged in retaking and clearing the enemies out of the trenches, and he was wounded in 2 places in the head and the arm, and in spite of it he was one of the first to push around and clear out the enemy trenches in the face of severe bombs and rifles in the closest range. But he did not die in action. He survived it. He was treated in the Royal Pavilion of Brighton at that point of time, and he continued to live. Died much later in 1950. At the age of 67, he was awarded Victoria Cross. I'm talking about Darwan Singh Negi. In the main area of Commonwealth graves, in the separate Indian plot are the 5 graves of Indian soldiers, 2 sepoys, 1 sowar, 1 driver and 1 rifleman.